The headlines for this hour on VTV News. Update on Vietnamese citizen death in Thailand. Export order rebound, creating new business opportunities. In war news, Islamic State claims responsibility for deadly attack Oman.
Broadcasting from Hanoi, the capital of Vietnam. VTV News starts right now.
Hello, it's 3 p.m. local time in Hanoi. You're watching VTV News. On Wednesday morning, National Assembly Chairman Trần Thanh Mẫn attended and spoke at the 18th session of the Hai Phong City People's Councils, recalling General Secretary Nguyễn Phú Trọng direction during his 2018 visit to the city. Hai Phong needs to promote the traditions of resilient creativity, the strengths of great national unity, and take the lead in innovation. National Assembly Chairman Trần Thanh Mẫn praised the City People's Council for its innovation and creativity. He commended their efforts in promptly institutionalizing and implementing the party's policies, laws, and resolutions of the National Assembly, the government, and the City Party Congress. Looking ahead, National Assembly Chairman Trần Thanh Mẫn suggested that Hai Phong clearly identify its potentials and strengths and strive to achieve and exceed its socio-economic development targets. More information has been released about the incident in which 6 people were killed at the Grand Hyatt REBOUND Hotel in Pathum Wan District, Bangkok City. According to the police, the victims were murdered and did not commit suicide. The investigation determined that 2 of the victims were American citizens and the remaining 4 were Vietnamese citizens. The authorities stated that the victims did not check in at the same time. Initially, 7 people registered to book 5 rooms at the hotel. On July 13, 1 person checked in, and on July 14, another person checked in, totaling 5 guests for 5 rooms. The victim checked out for 4 rooms on the 7th floor at the noon on July 15, consolidating all their luggage in 1 room on the 5th floor, where the bodies were found. At around 1 p.m. on July 15, the victims ordered 6 meals, but there were no signs of the food being consumed. Authorities discovered that drinks in the 5 teacups may have been used. Thai Prime Minister Srettha Thavisin visited the scene last night and urged the authorities to investigate thoroughly to avoid impacting Thai tourism. On July 17, in response to questions regarding the incident, spokesperson of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs of Vietnam, Phạm Thu Hằng, said that the Vietnamese embassies in Thailand continue to closely coordinate with local authorities, closely monitor and clarify the cause of the incident, provide necessary information to serve the investigations, coordinate with domestic authorities to notify the victims' families and guide funeral procedures, as well as deploy necessary citizen protection measures. At the same time, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs is urgently coordinating with the Ministry of Public Security to verify the identities of the above victims. The Ministry of Foreign Affairs would like to express its deepest condolences to the family of the victims and hopes that they will soon overcome this great loss. The recovery of external and domestic trade demand as well as the manufacturing sector have supported the Vietnamese economy to grow stronger than expected in the first half of 2024. This is the basis for the growth outlook for the whole year. Singapore-based United Overseas Bank UOB continues to maintain its economic growth forecast for Vietnam at 6%, with an achievable growth target of 6 to 6.5%. Vietnam's growth driver comes from the recovery of electronic industry demand, stable growth in China and the region, as well as the ability of major central banks to loosen monetary policy. The EOB made the comment that foreign investors largely view Vietnam prospect positively in the coming years in regard to foreign investment attraction. Besides the advantages, UOB experts also gave recommendations related to challenges and trends. They noted that risks such as geopolitical conflicts could significantly impact global trade, affecting transportation, energy, and commodities. Furthermore, inflationary pressure persists, particularly in food and energy prices. In the first half of the year, Vietnam export revenue exceeded $190 billion, up 14.5%. The trade balance showed a surplus of nearly $11.7 billion. Notably, new orders have surged for key export sectors, especially in the fruit and vegetable sector.
This company has seen a rise in both the number of orders from traditional markets and large contracts in new ones. With the market recovering, efforts to link production with consumption chains are key to securing stable orders for the company.
Orders are coming in steadily. This stability comes from early collaborations with farmers. Even when facing difficulties, our company can still ensure supply.
In the first half of the year, the total export value of fruits and vegetables nationwide reached $3.5 billion, equaling the entire year's export value in 2019. Increased orders for deeply processed products have filled many companies' order books until the end of the year, improving their profits.
We expect to reel in about $45 million from export this year. It is encouraging that the company has signed orders until the end of 2024. Our main markets are the US and Europe.
China is the largest export market, accounting for nearly 70% of the value. Among the exports to China, durian stands out. Its export value in June alone hit nearly $800 million.
The global market is recovering, leading to a rise in export orders. Vietnam's trading activities are seeing positive results, especially in the fruit and vegetable sector. Brighter growth prospects for this sector are expected, contributing to the target of $7 billion in agricultural exports.
Nearly 70% of European businesses believe in Vietnam's economic growth over the next 5 years, according to the Business Confidence Index (BCI) report just released by the European Chamber of Commerce in Vietnam, EuroCham. While optimistic about the long-term future, European businesses also highlighted areas needing improvement, especially obstacles in administrative procedures and challenges with visas and work permits for foreign workers. EuroCham believes that promoting cooperation to resolve these administrative and regulatory barriers will create a more effective and attractive business environment, benefiting both the European and Vietnamese business communities. In addition to guiding the development of durian growing regions in terms of accurate and quality management, government agencies are also promoting public-private partnerships. They are working with businesses and organizations to pilot sustainable durian farming models. This initiative has been implemented over the past year in Dak Drup District, Dak Nông Province.
Farmers visit their orchards daily, report any signs of disease to the project technicians, and have weekly or monthly face-to-face discussions with project officials in the field. Over the past year, Cuong has become accustomed to carrying forth his 3 hectares of durian this way.
The durians must be full and round with flawless skin to meet export standards. But producing such results was very challenging.
Since participating in the sustainable durian farming model organized by the Dak Nông Provincial Agricultural Extension Center in collaboration with Bayer Vietnam, farmers like Cuong no longer use pesticides indiscriminately. This has reduced costs and ensured food safety for the durians.
The fruit rot rate for last year's crop season was very high. But after implementing the program this year, the 15-ton harvest has a low fruit rot rate of below 1%.
Hundreds of farmers here have received training on the safe and responsible use of pesticides to minimize negative environmental impacts.
We plan to complete technical procedures in the near future and introduce some effective solutions for program adoption in other districts, such as holding direct technical training for farmers.
We need to closely collaborate with local authorities to ensure that more farmers can take part in the program and achieve greater effectiveness.
The project organizers hope to continue expanding this model to many other localities in the near future through public-private partnerships.
And before moving on to some other news, let's take a look at foreign exchange rate for today, July 17th. Coming up next on VTV News, resident abandoned votive paper, burning to protect the environment. And fishing industry strive to reduce plastic waste in ocean. Starting July 1st, the government is mandating the use of VNeID accounts for online public services. In remote communes with difficult terrain, implementing electronic identification poses challenges, yet local officials have been dedicated to assisting each household in installing Level 2 electronic identification. A report in Nan San Commune, Simacai Border District, Lào Cai Province.
The local technology team visited the family of Thein Xuân Vân, a Nung household, to introduce the VNeID application. At over 80 years old, Vân uses his phone solely to make calls. The police officer used his smartphone to help him register and activate his Level 2 electronic identification account.
What's difficult about all of this is the fact that people over 40 years old in remote areas are mostly illiterate. Traditionally, we have to carry various identification documents when visiting doctors or traveling. The new digital identification simplifies this process, reducing the risk of losing or forgetting documents.
Chiang Thein Phu owned a smartphone but was unsure how to install the application. The local police and a mobile network operator provided him with a free SIM card and helped him set up the application.
I heard about this and didn't know what to do. Today, the police and the local officials provided me with a SIM card.
Residents often work far from home, so officials need to be persistent in their outreach efforts.
Officials have to travel far to catch a signal to help residents with their electronic identification accounts. Despite these challenges, by the end of June, the commune has managed to activate ID accounts for 75% of local residents.
Each commune is tasked with forming a small team dedicated to supporting the process of digital transformation. These teams visit locals' homes to assist with the installation of Level 2 electronic identification. Additionally, we coordinated with network operators to improve the local digital infrastructure.
With strong determination, the district is adopting various solutions to finish the installment of Level 2 electronic identification for all residents.
No votive paper burning or inappropriate rituals should be organized during the Vu Lan Festival. This is the proposal of the Executive Council of the Vietnam Buddhist Sangha in a newly issued circular. The Vu Lan Festival will take place at the monasteries of the Vietnam Buddhist Sangha. Memorial, gratitude, and prayer ceremony for the souls of heroic martyrs will be held at martyr cemeteries. If organized at the cultural site or community activities, approval must be obtained from authorities at all levels. Money must not be collected for offerings that come in from the form of spiritual services or inappropriate rituals. Local authorities in Con Dao district have launched a campaign to encourage people to use eco-friendly products for commemorations and avoid burning votive paper offerings at war cemetery and other sacred places. After 2 weeks of the campaign's implementation, residents and tourists are getting used to and adopting green habits with the aims of protecting the local environment and reducing plastic waste.
Visitors to Anson Temple bring along fresh flowers and fruits to make offerings. This furnace is locked to prevent people from burning votive paper.
I support the campaign as it protects the environment and helps residents save money. Votive paper burning is banned, thereby reducing the risk of fire in the dry season.
In other historical relics, residents and tourists only bring along fruits and flowers. They also avoid using plastic bags and other single-use plastic items.
I brought a small flower banquet and a fruit basket to use as offerings. I think that's enough. I have visited many local historical relics and have also seen other people doing the same thing.
I totally agree with the campaign. The weather here is very hot. But after I got off the plane and wandered around the streets, I could still enjoy the fresh air and the beauty of nature. I'm very happy because people have become aware of the importance of protecting the environment.
According to Con Dao authorities, during the peak tourist season, an average of 1,400 to 1,600 sets of votive paper are burned at historical relics. Eliminating the custom of votive paper burning is the most effective way to keep the environment clean and green.
In recent days, although there have been no big waves, An Bang Beach in Hoi An City, Quảng Nam Province has eroded to the north. The erosion has an average depth of 7 to 10 meters and a length of about 50 meters. This is a rare phenomenon, especially in sunny weather. According to local authorities, the erosion may be due to the water current changing direction and swirling into the shore. The upcoming storm season will likely worsen the erosion at An Bang Beach. The Hoi An City People's Committee has requested that the Quảng Nam Province People's Committee and relevant authorities promptly inspect the area and implement appropriate solutions to protect the coast during construction. Recently, Quảng Nam Province has deployed hard embankments, creating anti-erosion measures at Cửa Đại, Hoi An Beach. Notably, when embankments are built in one place, the coast in another place erodes. About 3.2 million tons of plastic waste are discharged annually in Vietnam, including over 30 billion plastic bags. More than 80% of these are discarded into the environment after a single use. Plastic waste is causing marine pollution and affecting fishery resources. As such, many coastal localities are encouraging the fishing industry to actively reduce plastic waste.
This is another day at sea for Huong, a senior fisherman with 40 years of experience. However, in addition to checking machinery, equipment, and necessary tools for offshore fishing, he now also classifies items related to plastic and plastic bags.
Before receiving information from the authorities, locals discarded waste on the spot. But now they are aware more of its impact on the environment and consciously collect it to take home.
As one of the country's 3 major fishing grounds, the waters in Binh Thuận province attract thousands of fishing boats. This area also generates a lot of plastic waste, both on shore and at sea. At Singh's 4 fish pens, 120 kilograms of food are given daily, leaving many plastic bags. Therefore, he has decided to reuse them.
I bring the food to the sea in plastic bags and trays, then bring the bags back to shore to avoid discarding them in the water.
Fishermen, after learning about the project, are now conscious of bringing plastic waste back to the mainland. Many similar programs with specific target audiences and waste types are being carried out for efficient treatment.
Vietnam is implementing strong measures to reduce plastic waste. Starting in 2026, The production and import of biodegradable plastic bags smaller than 50 times 50 centimeters will be banned. Waste classification at the source will begin next year to promote waste treatment and recycling, including plastic waste. These efforts aim to reduce the country's plastic waste in the sea and oceans by 70% by 2030.
Between May and August, fishermen in Phie province eagerly prepare for their gear for offshore trips to catch anchovies, commonly used to make dry food and traditional fish sauce. Join us in the following report to admire the spectacular drone footage of anchovy hunting and catching along the coast of Hon Yên Island.
During the anchovy fishing season, local fishermen flock to Hon Yên Island to catch anchovies. There are about 10 to 13 fishermen in each fishing boat. They gathered here early in the morning to cast their fishing nets.
I have been doing this job for a long time. I catch anchovies here from 7 a.m. to 4 p.m. Batches of anchovies will then be sold to both domestic and foreign markets.
These veteran fishermen have spent their whole lives catching fish at sea. During the catching process, the shape of their fishing nets changes constantly. Observed from above, the fishing nets look like soft silk spreading out on the surface of the turquoise sea with various eye-catching shapes.
I'm very happy because I have caught a large bunch of anchovies. I can earn nearly $400 per month.
About 30 to 40 fishing boats gather here to harvest anchovies every day.
Hon Yên Islet is worth discovering for its pristine beauty and coral reefs that appear during low tide. Furthermore, the hidden charm of this gem includes the sight of fishermen casting nets in the turquoise waters.
Coming up next in our war news, Islamic State claimed responsibility for a deadly attack Oman. And Moscow ready to resolve conflict in Ukraine. The Islamic State IS on Tuesday claimed responsibility for an assault on a Shiite Muslim mosque in Oman that left at least 9 people dead, including 3 attackers. The 3 suicide attackers from IS attacked a gathering of Shiite or Muslims while they were practicing their annual rituals at a temple in the Wadi al-Kabir district. The Pakistani Foreign Ministry confirmed that 4 Pakistani citizens were among the 6 victims killed in the attack. The U.S. Embassy in Oman issued a warning to American citizens to stay vigilant in the area where the shooting took place. The incident is a rare occurrence in the country and has raised concerns about the rising threat of the Islamic State in the region. Moscow is ready to resolve the conflict in Ukraine peacefully. Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov made this statement at an open debate on multilateral cooperation in the interests of a more just, democratic, and sustainable world order on Tuesday. He also added that it will be necessary to take into account new geostrategic realities on the Eurasian continent, where a common continental architecture of truly equal and indivisible security is being formed. To end the conflict in Ukraine, Moscow proposes eliminating threats from the West. According to the New York Times, the Ukrainian government plans to end the conflict with Russia through peace negotiations. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky said on Monday that Ukraine is preparing a peace plan for a second summit in November. He added that Russian representatives should join the second summit with the aim of securing lasting peace with the Kremlin. The first summit on peace in Ukraine was held on June 15 to 16 in Switzerland with the participation of 92 countries, including almost 60 heads of state and government except Russia. The Asian Development Bank ADB on Wednesday slightly raised the 2024 growth forecast for developing Asia and the Pacific to 5% from 4.9%, reflecting the region's rapid growth in the first quarter of this year. The growth outlook for next year is maintained at 4.9%, according to the ADB latest supplement to the Asian Development Outlook 2024. Resilient domestic demand and strong export growth, particularly in electronics, have fueled the region's growth. The Manila-based bank raised East Asia 2024 growth projections to 4.6% due to strong export of semiconductors and other goods driven by the artificial intelligence boom, with the 2025 projection maintained at 4.2%. The growth forecast for Southeast Asia remained at 4.6% in 2024 and 4.7% in 2025, while for Pacific, it is 3.3% in 2024 and 4% in 2025. The growth forecast for South Asia stays steady at 6.3% for 2024, with the 2025 projection slightly down to 6.5%. Piles of garbage and sewage accumulate around refugee camps in the Gaza Strip. The destruction of waste collection vehicles, facility, and medical waste treatment centers has left municipalities scrambling to cope with the escalating crisis. More to follow.
Bulldozers plow through piles of waste, but residents find little relief as their children sift through garbage on Gaza's streets in a growing sanitation crisis.
We can't sleep, we can't eat, we can't drink. The smell is killing us. We can't sleep, all night we're fighting mosquitoes. No one is caring for us. People are catching diseases like scabies.
The piling up of waste has led to bad smells, spread of insects and rodents, in addition to the leakage of liquids from the waste to the underground water reservoir, which is the main source of water for the residents of Khan Yunis and Gaza enclave.
Garbage is piling up in the impoverished enclave. People are calling on the municipality of Khan Yunis to remove the waste. But the call for government services is wishful thinking in Gaza after 9 months of war.
Khan Yunis city has faced great damage amounting to over $200 million in the infrastructure, sewage systems, waste trucks and cleaning systems, in addition to the lack of fuel, which is the main pillar in operating the cleaning and sewage systems. This has led to the piling up of waste in streets and neighborhoods of Khan Yunis city.
Palestinians have faced one crisis after another since the conflict erupted between Israel and Hamas in October. The issue of solid waste management has become an urgent need in Gaza, requiring immediate support and solutions.
And now, as usual, let's continue with the weather forecast. And that's all the news for today. To rewatch our program, you can log on to VTVgo.vn or download our mobile application VTVgo. Thanks for watching and goodbye for now.